Okay, last interview on Thursday of our convention came by just in the nick of time. Paul Blanchard, head coach, Southwest Minnesota State. Blanche, thanks for jumping on with us.
Thank you very much for having me in here.
Excited to have you. A guy that I had the opportunity to compete against, 7 years ago, and was really taken back by your spirit, man. It's one that's contagious. It's positive. It's upbeat. And then the more I've gotten to know you, I love being around you, Blanche. This is fun.
It's been great getting to know you.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
And here's the cool part, man. You're really entrenched in the growth of the ABCA, and I know you're talking about your spirit, but it's the passion that you have to grow young coaches. Again, what we're talking about is our rookie coaches mentoring meeting. That's been something you spearheaded a few years ago. You want to talk about that a little bit?
We started it 5 years ago. We had 29 guys. I think we're maybe getting to get over 300 this year, which would be great. And I have a passion for helping the young guys get started in the game and stuff, because I'd run across a bunch of guys that are younger guys that were really good baseball people, really good guys, and they would try it for a year or two, and they get frustrated and quit. And I'm thinking to myself, we got to keep you guys in the game.
That's right.
We need good young coaches to do this, and I watch these guys operate, and there was a lot of it, I don't know if they know how to do it. They know kind of what to do at times and stuff, but I don't think they know how to survive this and how to get better and do some of that stuff. I don't know if they were mentored up. So I thought, well, I'll take a run at this and see if we can do some things and give some guys at least a few ideas about how to get better doing this and how to survive in this. And so far it's gone pretty well, and it's going to expand to other stuff and all that. But it's just been great to see some of those young guys, and they give us some feedback on what they like, what they learned, all this stuff. And I don't have all the answers.
Right.
I just been doing this a long time.
Right.
And I have.
Know what not to do.
I know what not to do, so we can avoid some of those roadblocks for some of those guys, and it's been fun listening to some of the feedback. I didn't think of it this way, or I never thought about that. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's kind of what it's about for us. Is to
awesome.
To kind of help steer you in the right direction. And whatever level you want to achieve and all that stuff, that's up to them. But just helping them with the study of our profession.
That's it. Oh my gosh, you've been the perfect guy for it. I mean, what I love about it is baseball was rampant in your household. Obviously, your dad playing for the Yankees, but you playing football and baseball. You chose the baseball path.
Right.
What I love about where does that passion for mentoring come from? Have you always kind of had that, or is that something you worked yourself into?
It's funny. I look back on it when I was 12 years old. Younger brother, 6 years younger, and so these guys are 6 years old. We got some buddies of his in the neighborhood, and I kind of organized a little league for them to play in our backyard.
Of course you did.
And I'm going, you look back and then I'm like, why? Maybe that was what my destiny or whatever.
Sure.
You do that when you're 12. When you want to play on your own.
You're wired differently.
I must have been, and it's, growing up in that family and all that with Dad and the whole thing, baseball was a big part of us and all that, and I just happened to be a guy that enjoyed more of the coaching aspect. I certainly wasn't a good enough player, but I figured maybe I could stay in it by doing the coaching part of it. So.
Okay, and then obviously that's birthed into you being a mentor for so many, not just the coaches that are going to show up tonight at our rookie coaches meeting, but I mean, you're a mentor to so many. What I love about meeting so many different coaches and having conversations is names get dropped. Right. You go through their resume, and Brad Stromdahl is a great example of that. We're meeting, we're getting to know each other, and he says, yeah, I did this, I did that, I coach here, I coach there. I was at Southwest Minnesota State, and you're like, the more Blanche, I'm telling you, it seems like I run into 5 people you coach with every 2 weeks.
Sure.
Your coaching tree and building that network of mentorees. How fulfilling is that for you?
Well, the older you get, the more that becomes satisfying in what you're doing. So it's more rewarding than just about anything. I think we're in the 20s. I think now with guys that have coached with us. Some have played for us that are out, and if they're not making a living doing it, they're supplementing their living doing it.
Right.
And so it's fun to go out and watch and hopefully you touch their life a little bit and you kind of help mentor them up a little bit about what works and what doesn't, and how you get better and how you can do some of that stuff.
That's
it.
And
again, I don't have all the answers, but I pay attention a lot to good instructors, good coaches, not necessarily a guy with the highest winning percentage, but just good and structures.
Yep.
If there's one thing that all of these guys, these young guys that we work with, can hang their head on is, or what they should be concerned about is, can I instruct this game? Whatever side of the ball you're on doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Are you any good? Can you increase your demand? Can you increase your value to a school or to a team or whatever? If you can instruct and you do that well, you're going to be sought out.
Yeah.
That team, that school doesn't want you to leave.
Yeah. Yeah. And more opportunities are coming.
And more opportunities are coming because people talk and all that stuff, and this guy's good, and this guy's, he's getting this done, and coaches know. You go against another team, I know who works with who on the other side.
Right.
And if I see, maybe they have average players, and all of a sudden this guy makes them above average.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to make them great. That's a talent issue perhaps, but they improve the way those kids play because of their ability to instruct the game. And that's the biggest thing, like tonight's meeting and stuff like that. That's going to be what a lot of it's about.
Right.
Is how do you do this, not what you're doing.
Yep.
You and I are going to argue X's and O's. That's fine. It doesn't really matter to me. If you can teach it, it works for you. Who am I to say you're wrong?
Right.
But I'm more concerned about how are you doing that? How do you get what you know into that kid so he can perform?
I love it.
That's the gist of it. That's the bottom line.
That's it. I remember I'm flashing back to the conversation we had. I was at St. Joe's. You were obviously where you're at. We're getting ready to play, and I remember us having myself, you, Rick Odette, we're having a great conversation, and I felt the transparency right there. That's obviously who you are. Getting to know you and becoming a friend, the transparency's still there. And so I know this question's almost right in your wheelhouse. I want you to go back to probably some points that you'll make tonight in the meeting with these young cats, but maybe 2 or 3 pitfalls, mistakes you made as a young coach. They're like, gosh, I can't believe I did that, but thank goodness I learned from it and I moved forward and got better at it. What are some of those young coach mistakes you made?
Well, some of it is that a young coach a lot of times is going to think that they have the answers.
Yeah.
This is the way they do it. This is the way I learned it. So by God, you're going to do it this way.
Right.
And there's some resistance there, and all of a sudden you as a young coach think, well, he's no good. He's no good, coach. Let's get somebody else in there because he's no good. He won't listen. And if you can get beyond that barrier and identify the fact that the kids don't know what they don't know, you have to make them understand why your way is more efficient than what they've been doing. You're going to make some progress. You can't clear that hurdle. It's not going to work.
Right.
They have to know why they're doing stuff. And you also have to be smart enough to know when you were good as a coach and when you were bad.
Right.
If you can look in the mirror and say, you know what, I sucked today. I was bad. I was bad. The kids weren't on task the right way. I didn't teach this up. There's a confusion going on, stuff like that. You have to be able to identify that. Because then if you can do that, you can also know when you've made progress and done well.
Wow.
But if you just go about it and you don't know, you're not aware enough that this didn't make any sense to this kid, that's a problem.
Wow.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's times where I would work with somebody or whatever, and it didn't quite work out. And after a while, I'm like, you know what? I can't blame the kid.
Yeah.
I can't blame the kid.
That's on me.
That's on me. I didn't make any progress, and I understand the talent end of things. Maybe he's not quite as talented.
Right.
You have to know that too. You can't ask a kid to do something he's physically not capable of doing.
Right.
But you can work with that part. If you can make little gains and stuff, that's kind of what it's about. And I think being aware of that, and that's over the course of time. I don't know if there's any one incident that came about, but that's the gist of a lot of it. And if there's some other stuff that has gone on, I guess maybe I'm just one of those guys that accepts it more, that, you know what, it's my fault. The buck stops here. I'm the guy. I'm responsible for what goes on here, and I need to do better, and you need to learn from your mistakes and this and that. So it's a work in progress.
Blanche, I don't think that mentality, approach, awareness is prevalent in a lot of young coaches.
No, it's
I'm guilty as charged. I mean, we both are.
And it's again, they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah. And
you have to have an effective way to get that through to them.
Yeah.
And I'll speak about a lot of that tonight yet, but not being aware is part of the deal. And I'll point stuff out to some of the young coaches that are there. I'll compare against other teams, see what this kid is doing. This is what he could be doing better.
Right.
with his talent level, this is what he could be doing better. You know, he can little stuff all the time you go around the field. Or if there's some guy that does something really well, I'll point out, you know, why he does this really well. It's because of this.
Right.
It's because of this. And, you know, an example I can use is I'm a Yankee and stuff. Okay, if you don't. So Derek Jeter's my guy. Right?
Sure.
So you can watch him. Everybody's seen him make a slow roller play.
Yeah.
And he gets it between his feet. He goes through and he makes the play, and everything looks pretty smooth, pretty easy. And so I had a guy tell me one time, well, he's just talented. And I go, really? Okay. If that's your thinking and you don't want to mess with somebody and try and teach a kid how to do that, you're obviously not going to make any progress.
Sure.
But what I would do with a guy like Jeter, and what I think more guys need to look at, is take him from head to toe.
Yep.
What is he doing? Physically, what is he doing? He's talented, yeah, but he's got to be making a play somehow.
That's right.
How's he moving his feet? How's he moving his hands? Where does he pick it up? What angle does he release it at? Is he leaned over or whatever? Now, we can't throw it 85 miles an hour across the diamond like him.
Right.
But we could throw it 72,
Sure.
75.
Sure.
Using the same approach with it.
And then over here, build arm strength.
Yes.
That applies.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can do all that. So it's the stuff that it's the stuff that the guy is performing well.
Mm-hmm.
You want to slow that down and pick it apart.
Wow.
And go from there and see if you can take away from those good performers. And don't reinvent the wheel. Do the same thing.
Right.
You know, but progress with them and try and get it done that way. And it's that's something I would point out to young guys.
That's it. Well, to me, it'd be obvious for anyone listening to this, anyone listening to it right here, the transition for you being transformational, again, using two terms pretty much everybody's familiar with, transactional versus transformational. When you think about being transformational with young coaches,
Mm-hmm.
it's obviously easy to think that you're transformational with your players.
Mm-hmm.
Was that always there? Do you have a place? And the reason I ask that is throughout our show, throughout conversations with coaches, myself guilty as charged again, is as a young coach, you're trying to build your career, you're trying to build your stock,
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to build your knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
but with doing that, at times we lean towards being, in essence, transactional with the players. That we treat them like a meat market. We move a new kid in. If you can't get it done for me, give me somebody else,
Right.
as opposed to truly coaching for relationships. So
Right.
all that being said, is that a piece that you've always had in place, or is that something that you've had to even grow into that regard with the players in relationships?
Well, the most fun, I think, in our job, at least my experience and stuff, has been the relationship you have with the players.
Yep.
And we have a job because of those kids. They're not there because of us. Act accordingly.
Right.
I mean, that's just how it is.
Right.
And getting to know them and see them grow over the course of 4 years is a fun part of it.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I enjoy the most. And you're doing that with your interaction of them on a daily basis about how to perform certain skills, certain drills, all that,
Yep.
and going through all that. And when you see them do well, that makes you feel pretty good.
Fulfillment's in that.
Fulfillment is fulfillment's in that, and you're thinking, you know what? I helped make this kid better. I helped make this kid feel better about himself. And then he has a better experience with what's going on. If they screw up, they're not trying to screw up. They just do. And you go through that part. But the relationships with them is a big thing. I'm a middle child, so
All right.
I've always been the guy that puts out fires on both ends and does a lot of that stuff. And
Sure.
so I've got some of that in there. My mom is one of the greatest readers of people I've ever met in my life. I think because of who she was married to,
Yep.
she was always concerned about who was dealing with that and stuff like
Yep.
that. And so I think I've been able to from that, you learn a little bit more about how people are and what they're doing. And getting those relationships with the players is a lot of fun. Where we're at and how many guys are going to go to the major leagues and all that stuff, it's not going to happen.
Right.
But, as far as developing them to the best of the ability that they have and all that and seeing that, and hopefully the kids can get the most out of his ability, you can't ask for more than that.
That's it.
And you have to know that that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I get a little concerned about, some of the higher levels that if he's not good enough, let's ship him out, get somebody else in.
Yep.
And I'm thinking to myself, okay, you know what? You saw something in that kid to begin with. That's why
Right.
he's at your place. How about develop the guy?
That's right.
How about develop the guy? And if you know what you're doing, you can accomplish that.
Yep.
And, you don't have to worry about shuffling guys in and shuffling guys out and being transactional, like you said, and all that. You can accomplish it. And so that's where that's at.
So good. All right, I'm going to leave you with this because we've asked every coach this, and I think it's we got to be cognizant that a lot of convention goers who are here now, they're going to listen to the show.
Mm-hmm.
There's also going to be a lot of guys that couldn't make it to Dallas, and we're trying to get them, hey, man, you're missing out on something here. You got to get to Nashville. What's your call to action for those guys?
This is the largest amateur baseball convention in the world. What do we have? 6,000? How many? Six.
We are closing in on. We could end up around 6,500.
Okay,
let's hope.
I mean, you think about that, and all baseball people coming in here.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? How much fun is this?
Right.
You walk in the vendors, and you're walking around going, "I wish I had about $10 million. I'd buy all of it." You know, and it's for all the first-year guys. It's like a kid in a candy store.
That's right.
You know, they're just, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. But the relationships you can develop here, you hang out with people, you all have the same concerns and the same. It's just different versions every guy you talk to, and so it's nice to have this kind of support group. And you hear the latest and greatest. The game won't pass you by if you come to this on a regular basis. You listen to everybody, the hot stove stuff, all the speakers and all. You hang out in the lobby, you learn stuff.
Right.
In restaurants and all that. I mean, you can learn stuff. You got to come in here, and you're all on the same page. You're all baseball coaches. There's no cold calling going on down here. I mean, you're all in this. And then you guys are going nuts, increasing the membership and doing all this, and it just gets bigger and better every year. And there's something here for everybody, and I really think guys are missing out if they don't come to ABCA.
Get to Nashville.
Get to Nashville. Save your pennies now, man.
That's it.
Save your pennies.
Blanche, I say this on almost all our shows, man. We are thankful that there's men like you inside the association, passionate about our mission to help coaches and grow coaches, and certainly you exhibit that every single day, and certainly tonight with our Rookie Coaches Mentoring Program. Blanche, thanks for jumping on with us.
Appreciate having me. Thank you very much.